This is my fifth video lecture about the strategies which are used during protein extraction and purification from different biological sources. And in this lecture, we will deal with the gel-free separation techniques used for protein purification. These techniques include ion exchange chromatography, size exclusion chromatography, immobilized metal affinity chromatography, normal phase chromatography, hydrophobic interaction chromatography, gas chromatography, liquid chromatography, high pressure liquid chromatography, and ammonium sulfate precipitation. The types of chromatography mentioned are categorized in column chromatography, as they use a column for the separation of the compounds from their mixtures. The column chromatography involves a column which separates the substances based on their differential adsorption to the adsorbent or the stationary phase. The compounds move through the column at different rates, allowing them to be separated into fractions. The technique is widely applicable as many different adsorbents like normal phase, reversed phase, or otherwise can be used with a wide range of solvents. Its advantages include it is relatively low cost technique, the disposability of the stationary phase which prevents cross contamination and stationary phase degradation due to recycling. Column chromatography can be done using gravity to move the solvent or using compressed gas to push the solvent through the column. Ion exchange chromatography. It separates the ions and polar molecules based on their affinity to the positively charged sites in the stationary phase. It can be categorized into two types, the anion exchange chromatography and the cation exchange chromatography. As the name indicates, anion exchange chromatography is used to separate the anionic proteins, that is, the analyte is negatively charged and therefore the stationary phase used will be positively charged, while cation exchange chromatography is used to separate the analytes which are positively charged and therefore the stationary phase will be accordingly negatively charged. Now, two modes of elution can be used in ion exchange chromatography, that is the salt gradient and the pH gradient. Suppose this is a column of the ion exchange chromatography. It is comprised of the positively charged gel beads which are showing its stationary phase. Now, when we add a mixture of proteins containing our target proteins which are definitely negatively charged here, as we are using an anion exchange resin, so we will add the mixture in the mobile phase through the column, and as the mobile phase will pass through the column, the positively charged proteins will be eluted at first, while the negatively charged proteins will become bound with the positively charged stationary phase. Now, in order to separate these negatively charged proteins, we can use a salt gradient. The salt which is normally used for this purpose is sodium chloride, and as we know, the salt contains negatively and positively charged species, that is, sodium is negatively charged while chloride ions are sodium is positively charged while chloride ions are negatively charged. So when we have to elute these negatively charged target proteins from the positively charged resin, we add the elution buffer, and this elution buffer contains the high salt gradient. The salt gradient from 0 to 1 molar can be used stepwise in order to elute the contaminating proteins and the target proteins. Now, the negatively charged part of the salt will compete with the negatively charged proteins in order to bind with the positively charged stationary phase, and this hence the salt, high concentration of the salt will be used to break the interaction of the target proteins with the positively charged stationary phase, and the negatively charged proteins will be eluted. Secondly, we can use the pH gradient for the elution of the target proteins in ion exchange chromatography. But before studying how the pH gradient can be used for this purpose, first we will focus on the amphoteric behavior of the amino acids. The amino acids can behave as the ampholytes or the Zwitter ions, that is, they may carry no charge. At times the amino acids carry positive charge or a negative charge or null charge depending on the pH of the medium. When the pH of the medium is low, there is high concentration of hydrogen ions, as a result of which the amino group accepts the proton and become positively charged. Hence, the amino acid at low pH is highly protonated and is positively charged. It behaves as a cation and amino group is its basic group. While at high pH, there is a reduced hydrogen ion concentration in the medium. Hence, the amino group will lose the NH3 plus will lose its proton, while the carboxylic group will also lose its proton and will become negatively charged and will give the amino acid acidic character. Hence, at high pH, amino acid behaves as an anion. While there is a value of pH at which an amino acid is electrically neutral, it carries no charge. This value of pH is known as isoelectric point. Now, we can have an anion exchange resin or a cation exchange resin. How can we use the pH gradient in order to elute the proteins, target proteins from these two types of resins? In anion exchange resin, the negatively charged protein is strongly bound with the positively charged stationary surface. Now, if we have to elute this negatively charged analyte, then we will convert it into the positively charged species. And in order to convert it into positively charged, we will decrease the pH gradient. As we have studied that, as we have seen that at low pH, an amino acid becomes positively charged. So, in order to make the target protein positively charged, we will add the elution buffer or we will use the mobile phase with the lowered pH. And this low pH will make the molecule to become more protonated or less negatively charged, which will allow its elution. A decreasing pH gradient can be used to elute proteins using an anion exchange resin. Lowering the pH of the mobile phase will cause the molecule to become more protonated, less negatively charged, allowing its elution. Now, in case of cation exchange resin, the target protein which is strongly bound with the cation exchanger is positively charged. In order to elute this protein, we will reverse its charge into negative. And for that, as we have seen that at high pH, the proteins or the amino acids are negatively charged. So, in order to make it negative charge, we will increase the pH gradient. We will increase the pH gradient of the elution buffer or the mobile phase. An increasing pH gradient can be used to elute the proteins from cation exchange resins. This is because increasing the buffer pH of the mobile phase causes the proteins to become less protonated, less positively charged, so it cannot form an ionic interaction with the negatively charged resin, allowing its elution. Ion exchange chromatography can be used for the preparation of deionized water and for pre-concentration of trace components of a solution to obtain enough for analysis. Second type of column chromatography, which can be used for the separation of the proteins from the mixtures, is size exclusion chromatography or molecular sieve chromatography. In this chromatography, molecules in a mixture are separated by their size and in some cases according to their molecular weight. It has two types depending on the nature of the mobile phase. In gel filtration chromatography, the mobile phase is aqueous, while in gel permeation chromatography, mobile phase is an organic solvent. Principle of size exclusion chromatography. As you can see here, there is a column of size exclusion chromatography. This chromatography column is packed with the fine porous beads. The grey colored beads are shown here which are porous. These may be made up of the different polymers like dextran, cifadox, agarose or polyacrylamide. Now, when we add a mixture comprising of the protein molecules of different sizes, then the large sized molecules cannot pass through the pores of the beads. So, they come out of the column at first and they do not face any resistance while passing through the column, while the small molecules diffuse in the pores, as is shown by this blue line or the green lines. the small molecules diffuse into the pores of these beads and their flow through the column is retarded according to their size. While large molecules do not enter the pores and are eluted in the column's volume. So the largest particles will be eluted at first, and those with the intermediate size will elute in between, will elute secondly, and then the smallest molecules will elute at last. Now this chromatography technique can be used for polymer characterization. For polymer characterization method, which measures the size distribution of polymer molecules, as it is a low resolution chromatography, so it can be used as a final step in protein purification, and it determines the quaternary structure of proteins, because size exclusion chromatography can be performed under native conditions. Rest of the types of chromatography will be seen in my next lecture. Thank you.